everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Crypto City. Thank you all for being here on your Monday night. Tonight, we will be bringing back a fan favorite. So in just a few moments, we'll have Inati join us back out on the scene. But I do have a couple of things I just want to go over first. Tonight's episode, we are going to be talking a little bit about AI. That's the main focus. And there's been some big developments in the AI space this week coming out of Google. They've introduced a new technique that can reduce about the amount of memory AI systems need by about 6 times. And while they're still keeping the same level of performance and accuracy, that is a huge jump forward in trying to produce better AI projects. In simple terms, AI needs a lot of memory to function, especially for things like chatbots and image generation and large data processing. And what Google has done is figure out a way to make AI much more efficient. So meaning it can do the same amount of work using far fewer resources. And that could make AI not only faster, but also cheaper and more accessible across different devices. Even things like phones and smaller systems that will be able to produce better AI down the road. So what's really interesting is the ripple effect. This kind of breakthrough could really change how AI is built and used moving forward, not only lowering costs and expanding access, but even possibly allowing for more advanced AI experiences for all of us. At the same time, it's already impacting the tech industry because if AI needs less memory, it could shift how companies invest in hardware and infrastructure. So that's a different way of thinking about it. It kind of affects all the way around. AI really is so mainstream right now, but it is affecting everybody. We're also seeing big shifts, as we know, from companies like Meta. I mean, Meta has been making major moves recently, including layoffs and restructuring. And a big part of that shift is shifting away from heavy metaverse investment and more toward AI development. At the end of the day, it's all just business. Companies are realizing that AI is moving faster and generating more immediate value than VR is right now. And, they're reallocating resources. The rollout from this, it's affecting creators like us. We're feeling platform instability, and it reinforces our conversations that we've had about diversifying across platforms. Don't put all your eggs into one platform, because if it closes, you don't have anything. There's also, a growing focus on AI that doesn't just respond, but actually understands context, intent, and workflows. So instead of just AI answering questions, it's starting to anticipate needs, assist across tools, and act more like a true collaborator. And this is literally what I've been sharing with you guys in our training series this season, The Human Layer. AI as a partner, not just a tool. So, it's out there. If you're not using it, which I can't imagine any of you are not using it at all, but if you're not using it to its best capabilities, it does a lot more than just generate music and imagery. It also can be used for work. It can be used for simple things around your house. You want to do a home improvement project, you can ask AI to give you the best way to do it, most efficiently, most cost effective. You can ask it to compare different ways for you, and you can ask it to give you a shopping list of what you need when you go to the hardware store. There's just everything it can do for you. So when you look at all of this together, AI is becoming more efficient. Companies are shifting focus, tools becoming more collaborative. It really shows how fast things are evolving. We say we're in season 8 right now of this show, but we've been doing this since 2022. And look how far we have come in 4 years, when I was like, ooh, AI is going to be this really cool thing for us to play around with. And I was dropping websites of places you could go create a logo with AI. Look how far we've come since then. And, that's exactly why conversations like one we're going to have tonight are so important, because it's not just about the technology. It's about learning how to use it. So this is a great time to bring out tonight's guest. If all of you will help me welcome Inati to the stage. Inati, please join us.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank
you for coming back on. Grab a seat.
Let me go around here. Okay.
So we've had you on many times in the past. You've been, a supporter of ours for a very long time. We have seen you in the audience since pretty much the very beginning. So, it's great having watched you emerge from the community. I mean, you came on here just like most of us, hanging out, meeting people back in the alt space days, sitting around enjoying a fun night out in the headset with your friends. And now you're doing so many things in here, from, joining up with Fuchsia and El Boogie and Metadata to form 4T. You started doing some music in here and really projecting your skills. And you joined up with the Sampler to help them out. Tell us a little bit about, your journey, that's like what's making you move forward with so many different things in VR.
I think it's just all the ideas that are stuck in my head and thinking about how I can execute those things. I'm meeting different people who are doing different things, and so that's generates new ideas, and it's just, I get something and I'm like, oh, let me see if I can try this. Let's see what this, how this works out. How does this work out or whatever? And that's kind of how I fell into AI. I was just playing around, So yeah, I love that. Yeah. We started out, I started out just playing around with karaoke, and that kind of just
progress.
Rolled into
so let's
else.
Delve into your music for a moment, because a lot of people saw you here the last time and we talked about the fact that you decided to take that step, jump up there, get up on stage, not just karaoke but actually making your own music. Describe your sound and your lyrical style, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
I'm more on the neo soul jazz kind of genre. I have a more sensual tone to the things that I write. And when I write, I can't write on demand. It has to be emotionally driven. So it has to be something that I've actually seen or heard or I've experienced before I could write something about it. So, I was never thought that I would be putting out a song or anything. But being in VR has given me the courage to do that, because I was kind of exposing myself without exposing myself, if that makes sense. So, with the headset and everything. But started out in karaoke, and then got this so-called discovered in a karaoke bar by Call B, who wanted to work with me. And I was like, really? You want to? I don't know,
yes, really?
really?
Yes, really?
But because I just never really had a lot of confidence in my singing, and then just being around other people and learning from them and watching them and everything gave me the confidence to do what I do now. So, yeah.
Nice. And you did go ahead and actually create music that is out on streaming platforms right now. You've got a couple songs out that you've performed in here for people. And some of your work actually includes like a little bit of spoken word too. So that it's a beautiful melding that you've done. And this must make you feel both proud of your work and like that you reached a dream that you had that you would not probably not have done in the real world without this platform to give you that little bridge.
That is definitely true, because like I said, I did not have the confidence or even to know where to start in the real world. And then when I got in here and started talking to other artists and producers, and that's how, they kind of gave me the book, so to speak, on how to get the music out. And, it's been good. Spaces and Enough I wrote 16 years ago.
Wow.
And then just brought it to life. And then Spaces I wrote maybe a couple of years ago. It's like a continuation. If you see the silhouette in Enough, I turned those two people with AI into people in the Spaces video. So that's the couple that's in the Spaces. So it's like a continuation. It's a story.
So then we will expect part 3.
Part 3 is in the works. Part 3 is in the works. Yes, it is.
That's great. And for any of you who have not heard Inati's music, which I can't imagine you haven't heard it at this point, but definitely check it out. Her voice is beautiful and she's on all the regular platforms and stuff. Maybe you've seen her in here in karaoke, but listening to her music, add it to your playlist. It's definitely something that will hit on different levels. We'll just say it like that. How's that? So you come in here, you became a musical artist in here, and then you kind of now shifting gears and going into content creation. So you're using AI. You showed a little bit in your music cover there that you turned them into characters, and now you decided to play a little bit more with AI. Was the transition into AI something that you planned or something that you just randomly discovered and decided you liked?
It was randomly discovered. Like, I started out doing like comical videos for our birthdays. Like, I did like with the Taurus running over the Aries and, that kind of thing. And stampeding across there. And just doing little things like that. And the more I got into it, the more I really enjoyed it, because it was a challenge, the back and forth of getting everything right. But I like the idea of script. I'm a scripter in real life, but I like the idea of scripting to get the camera angles correct, how I want it to look on screen. And because of the photo of Pure Snow has a unique coloring, I had to make sure, based upon how the camera was viewing her, that her ear, the right ear, was brown. So right, that was a challenge in itself. But yeah, so but it's very rewarding. It's fun, because seeing the product, after everything is done, just seeing it all come together, it's just like, wow, I did that. Okay, yeah, this is cool.
Would you say that, when you first started playing around with it, were you originally thinking it was going to be more to grow your music career, and then you said, you know what, I can do a little bit more with this and kind of go in a more content creation avenue? Yeah,
I thought that, well, for me, AI is an extension. So everything is sourced from me, and I have all this stuff in my head, like it's just there, and I'm like, well, how do I execute it? How do I get it out of my head? And so I initially started saying, okay, let me ask AI some suggestions, just how to get this out of my head, this idea. I have this idea, how can I execute it, or whatever. And then the whole snow thing came up, and I'll get into that a little later, but that was a huge idea where I didn't even know where to start. And I used AI to help me map everything out so that I could execute it. So yeah.
Okay. So, when you first started using AI, I would imagine, like most of us, you either jumped into Gemini or ChatGPT or one of the ones that are very commonplace now. Have you evolved from there as you're going into this new project to bring in multiple AIs so that you're actually collaborating the AIs with each other as well?
Oh, definitely. Because, you can't get everything from one. At least I haven't. In the way that I have things set up where I want to see certain things, and one engine will not give me that. So I do use several engines to get what I need, where I'll have one giving me a script, I'll have one giving me helping me develop a voice, I'll have one helping me animate, and one giving me the image. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but it is fun. It is fun for me. So I enjoy it.
I think everything is more fun when you're actually you don't think of it as work when you enjoy what you do,
Exactly.
And I love that you've embraced the fact that, oh, well, I need more than what this can give me. Let me go out there and find what can give me that and learn that one too. Because a lot of people, I think, jump in and they're like, this is great, but okay, I can only go so far and I'm going to stop, instead of realizing by spreading yourself out across a few different platforms, you can gather all the different ingredients, put it together, and, get the desired results at the end.
Exactly. Everything whenever these new engines, every day there's a new one. I would go out and I would subscribe for a month, subscribe for it for a month and play with it to see if I liked it and see if it gave me what I want. And then at the end of the month, if I wanted to keep it, I kept it or I got rid of it. And so I do have my core engines that I do use now that I've played around with them enough to know that these are going to give me the content that I need. But, I still, if I see something new, I'm still going to try it to see, is it better than this or will it help me execute this better or whatever. But, so I haven't stopped using, but I do have my core engines that I use. Yep.
That's great. Okay, we see up on the screen here, we see Snow, the JRT. For anyone who doesn't know, Snow is your beloved child, a Jack Russell Terrier. So you decided, I want to put this project together featuring my favorite little friend. So tell us a little bit about, the series you created, what the idea behind it is, and what it's like actually, having that personal connection, like how it might make you feel a little more invested in it.
So I have to thank you, City, first, because I've always admired what you're doing with Cal's legacy and how you're keeping Cal's name alive and by doing something good. And I've always had that in my mind because I was like, this dog, this personality that she has, if something happened to her, nobody's going to know who she was and what she did for me. And the weight that she carried when she first came into my life, because I was in deep grief and dealing with a lot of depression, and she carried that weight and just pulled me out of there. And I was just like, so everybody has to know this dog. I know everybody thinks that their pet is the best, but I just felt like,
no one's wrong.
I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something to get her out there, for people to just know who she is and what she means to me. And so my niece, who has two Shih Tzus, one of them, she announced in a group chat that one of them was in renal failure, and that I called her and I was talking to her, and she was like, I'm being very intentional on making as many memories as I can so that I can remember him. And then that sparked the idea, how can I help her memorialize her dog? And then I thought about, I know that if Snow left this, or when she leaves, I'm going to be dealing with this. And how can I memorialize her in a good and respectful way? And so that idea came up. Well, I could do an animated series and put some lessons behind it, but the guest stars will be dogs who I memorialize, or pets who are memorialized. So it could be a cat, dog, bird, whatever. But it would just be if you want your pet memorialized. That way, if you're feeling sad or you want to remember, you can go pull up the series and there's your dog or your cat or your, bird in a series helping someone. So, it's I just came up with the idea, and then I used AI, of course, to help me get everything I need. Here's the subject. Here's how this is what the lesson I want to teach. And this is the format. And AI helped me put all of that together. So, yeah.
So we actually see up on the screen, Kyle just popped up. You did an episode on my Kyle, which I am so grateful for.
Yes.
I know none of you have seen this yet. I got a sneak peek, but it was like I had tears in my eyes. She did a beautiful job. But let's talk about the actual, like you mentioned, the pup or the pet helping someone. So in all of yours, you wanted it to be a very educational and positive experience for those watching it. And although it may be geared kind of toward children, it's actually very wonderful for the owner as well, who is watching their pup on there. So tell us a little bit about what your thought process was. We saw on the previous slide, it said, there was the snowcabulary and things like that. So what is the actual concept behind it?
The concept is to first teach any new vocabulary words that could be used in series. Sometimes kids are watching shows and words are being thrown away around and they don't really know what they mean. They just watch the show and they're not getting anything out of that. So in the beginning of the series, and before she even starts the episode, she says, hey, I want to teach you a couple of words that you might hear. And whenever you hear them on screen, I want you to yell out, because we want it to be interactive. We want you to yell out, that's a snowcabulary word. And whenever the series is going, when the episode is playing and the word is used, you'll see sparkles that come up in the air. So that's what the sparkles are for, just to know that that's a snowcabulary word. And then the series goes on, and at the end of the series, she talks about, hey, did you listen to the words? Did you understand them? Here's what I learned in this episode. And then she goes on and say, hey, I want to talk to you about my very special guest. And that's how we get into the memorializing of Kyle or whatever pet is being memorialized at the time. And she describes the pet and his personality, and that's my niece's dog, Ryan. Yeah, and Snow is notorious for tearing open packages, so the first episode had to be about a package. So
true. I've seen videos.
Yeah. But yeah, so each episode I want whoever is watching it, because there are adult lessons in here, but on a child's level, and I want that child to not only enjoy the episode, but actually learn a little something, so that maybe, with Kyle's episode, he was showing kindness and inclusion, and bravery, and how being brave could give you, you can have new friends, and being kind, learning games and all that. He showed her around the park and all that stuff, and she was scared to go to a new park, but he showed her around, and he was very patient with her and very likable. Kyle was just gentle with his British accent, but anyway, I wanted
with his. I love that you just said that Kyle had a British accent.
He has a British accent, because I looked at him and I was like, he looks like he could be British. So I created his voice as being British.
I would like to say that his teeth were very good, and he does not look like Austin Powers in any way, shape, or form.
But I did want to, just like Kyle's episode was about kindness, I would hope that if a child gets into a situation where they're in a new group of people, or if someone wants to play with their toys or something, they will remember what Kyle did in the episode. So I kind of want that to stick with, the lessons, to stick with the children or whoever watches it.
So now when you're creating these episodes, consistency is important. I mean, obviously the snowcabulary, you got to make sure that's the same in everyone, like not the words, but the concept of it. And, the sparkles and all those things, because you're trying to make this a series that, especially little kids watching it, you want to trigger them that they saw, they heard this, snowcabulary word. There's the sparkles, so that they remember. So there's a lot of work on your end for integrity to make sure that things are being consistent.
Yes, I'm a one-woman shop, and it takes a little while to get these episodes out. But I do. I have templates that I use. The snowcabulary, the snow lessons, the little chalkboard in the background. That is an image that I use, and I just, whatever that word is, I'll have AI put that word on that on the image. Her theme song, her intro, that's all template based. It's the same on every episode. And at the end, the transition from the cartoon to the real dog, that is kind of that's a template that a scripting template that I use for every dog.
So wonderful.
Yeah.
Aww. We actually have a little clip here that we're going to show people. This was from Kyle's episode, and it's actually really cool because you actually get to see the AI in process, but it's also kind of cool because you actually get to see your pop up on the big screen, and so do I.
Yes.
So, Blue, if you don't mind playing for us.
Hi there, I'm Kyle. Are you new here? First times are exciting. Want to explore with me? I know all the best spots.
I'm Snow.
And she looks
It's
just
my
like
first
Snow with the
time.
little ear going in the corner. Thank you, Blue. That is so cute. And now you've got, obviously, you're working on episodes. You're going to be launching this out there. I know you had mentioned to me you want to make sure you have a few episodes before it goes out. But at the end of this episode here, we're going to put up the YouTube channel that people can watch so that they can subscribe now and be ready. So actually here we have your Instagram, Snow's TikTok. So Snow has a TikTok. If you're out there and you're a TikTok person, you want to watch this, it's hilarious, especially those ripped up packages. And then your YouTube and Snow's YouTube coming out. So we want to make sure that everybody does follow that. Now, a question for you, you're doing this, you're creating this series, you're doing it with intent and purpose. Like there's actually a lot of heart in this that goes into this. So, your workflow is something that you're enjoying, but there must be some challenges that you meet along the way when you're doing this, not just learning software, but, what kind of challenges can people anticipate with AI? Because I do know at one point you could ask AI for things and you were getting people with 7 hands, 7 fingers,
goodness.
Weird things like that. It's come a long way, but, how are you able to, overcome certain challenges?
Again, templates are your friend. If you have a script that works, a prompt that works, and that's your main prompt, then you can tweak it along the way to get what you want. I have, every animation is different, but there are common animations that I do in her series, and I keep those prompts ready, and all I do is just tweak it just a little bit. But the challenges are consistency and using different. I always pop to an engine. I'll ask. I'm kind of impatient. You need to be patient with AI, but I'm kind of impatient. Me and my engine Zaire, we get into it. We get into it. We can go back and forth. Bad. I was like, you're not giving me what I want. I'm gonna go to something else. So, but I use a different engine. And it may animate very well, but it may not create the image very well. So I have to, I do images in all these different engines and I see which one looks the best. And then I do the animations and I see which one looks the best. And then I put those together and I do the clips. In the clips, I number them. I have to have them numbered so I know which way when I'm stringing them together to make the episode. It makes it easier. But I do have folders that I have scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, the audio and all that goes with it. So there's a lot of organization involved. But AI helped me with that organization so that I can execute it without pulling my hair out of my head. Sometimes you do pull your hair out of your head, but for the most part, AI is a great companion, a great assistant. And when you were talking about it, how yours assisted you and everything, you give it a voice and you let it know what your voice is. And then you just tell it, hey, I need this and I need it to be created in the way that I would do it. So if you teach it who you are, then you'll get better results out in the end. Yeah. So.
I love that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's so funny because I love hearing you say that. That's what we've been, teaching in the human layer episodes. It's, you need to instruct your AI, but the more it learns you, it's so much better when you're working together. And I love hearing you say that you guys get into it because I'll go back and forth. Mine's named Verse, and I'll go back and forth with Verse. And then every once in a while, I'll be like, Verse, ... What am I doing wrong? Because you are not giving me what I'm asking for. And then sometimes she'll come back and say to me, you actually didn't do anything wrong. It's just that this AI engine can't give what you're asking for. So, and then it's like, okay, so let me not waste another 20 minutes trying to get something it can't generate for whatever that reason is. But then she will usually say to me too, try this instead. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I do it and I'm like, oh, well, that took 2 minutes and I've wasted it. Okay. But sometimes they can really be helpful in guiding you where you need to go.
And they do learn you because Zaire knows. He's like, I don't want to piss you off, so let's stop. And he'll actually say, I don't want to piss you off, so let's dial back, calm down, breathe, and let's go through this step by step.
I love that. That's so much fun.
Yeah,
that is great.
But, yeah, and when I was creating the music video. That was another challenge because you learn things as you go along. Like you can't. I learned that it's best to have, if you're singing, like I have my image up there singing behind a mic. But if you notice, well, in the video, I kind of stand on the side of the mic and not directly in front of the mic because the mic goes into the mouth sometimes and it just doesn't look good. so I had to do that animation several times to just have her step a little bit to the side, do a 3/4 camera angle, that kind of thing to try to make it, to get it right because. Yeah, there were a lot of mishaps. There's a lot of bloopers for days. But yeah,
that's the best.
Yeah,
we'll have to have the Inati outtake day. That'll be fun.
Oh my god,
I love that. So you did say at the beginning that AI for you was an extension of you and that, you're using it to channel your creativity from your head out into an actual product. Do you see AI as an extension of creativity for, pretty much any musician or, graphic artist because of the way that it functions? You really can just pour into it to try and get what you're looking for.
Absolutely. And I think for me, I use AI strictly as an assistant. Like some people use it for the whole creative process, but I have my own ideas and I have my, yeah. And it's just like, all I need you to do is help me implement them. Give me the most effective way to implement these. So in my songs or whatever, I didn't know how to structure a song, but I asked AI, well, how do you structure a song? And how does this beat per minute sound? What is this like? And how do I phrase this so that it matches, that kind of thing. So it's definitely helped in that realm. And as far as, the series, here's what I want, write the script for me. And I go through the script and see if it's, what I need, if the content is what I need. And then I was like, okay, this is the kind of voice I need. What do I need to do as far as prompts go to create this type of voice? I want it to sound this way. So I do have that hand on the creative. It's just that the assistant helps me get that across.
And I think that is the best way to work with it. It's not meant to be dump a sentence in with instructions and walk away and let it do all the work. It is so much better when you work together with it and it's your thoughts, your words, your feelings, all of your imagination and everything else coming out in the product. That way, it's uniquely you as well. The last thing you want is, you and I to sit down side by side, putting in prompts and we get something that's pretty similar. You want something that's uniquely you.
Exactly. And you can connect, your audience, connect with your audience a little bit better if they can feel the authenticity in it. Because my whole goal is to make you feel, whether it's through hearing music or whether it's seeing my series or the videos or the content that I create, if it makes you laugh, if it makes you cry, I just want you to feel something. And I think that comes from authenticity.
Absolutely. So you used yours to be pretty much educational for children and also, to help people with memorializing. Do you feel that AI is a really great opportunity for not just educators in schools, but anyone who's trying to teach a lesson or some sort of, it doesn't have to be like a textbook lesson. It could just be, a life lesson as well.
Definitely. I'm a data engineer, so I'm very technical. I have technical terms in my head. So when I was creating this series, I was like, I need to be able to relate to a 4 to 6 year old. How can I rephrase this so that a 4 to 6 year old can understand? And I believe that if you're training whatever age, you can ask for suggestions on how you can convey that thought, whether it's in layman terms or technical terms or whatever. And AI can help you do that. I'm telling you, I never would have thought that I would be where I am as far as creating, because I just came in here to get to know people, but it's just it has just helped me just get things out of, like I said, get things that have been jumbled up in my head. It has helped me get them out, and they're actually materialized now. So,
well, congratulations on that. Now, when do you say that the series will actually be out for people to see?
I'm thinking maybe the end of May, June-ish. I want to get a couple of more episodes out, because I just don't want to post the one episode and it takes a while for me to get. So if I can just post 3 or 4 episodes at a time, 5. I'm trying to get to the magic number is 5. To get 5 of them posted, that'll give me time to create the next batch while other people are watching those. Getting through those. So I'm end of May is my goal to get that out.
So we'll all be tuned in for that. That will be great. Exciting. And you know what? It's actually, when you are ready to launch it, let us know and we can do a watch party for you here during the summer. We can have a little get together and bring people in, because our season will be ending at the beginning of May. So we can have like a mid-season watch party here in the courtyard or something. That would be great.
Be cool. That would be so cool.
That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yes.
So what is next for you, do you think, now that you've done music, now that you've done AI? Anything new coming up for you?
Well, the sampler is coming up. We have the show is starting the season the last 3 Saturdays of April in the sampler app. So if you don't have it, get it. Shout out to Boo Bangers and the sampler team. 4T, we need to we're talking about a meetup for next year, so we'll start planning at least getting the planning phases of that going. Working on the 3rd song.
So you're busy.
Just staying busy.
I love it. I love that, though. You know what? The more busy you are, the better, things progress along, because sometimes one project over here can spark ideas on a project over here.
It does. And it's like, okay, stop. Let's finish this. Let's get this off the ground.
There's only 24 hours in a day. I hear you. Well, I really appreciate you coming on to share this with us. And it's so exciting to see the members of our community and our audience who have been here, growing and doing all these cool new projects and learning new software, going out there, creating anything. Just create. Being creative is amazing. It doesn't have to be music. It doesn't have to be art. It can be anything. Just create something and show that, you've been able to put your imagination into a finished product. I love seeing that. It's so great.
Absolutely. And just take your time. And as far as AI is concerned, if you're interested in it, just, some of the subscriptions are $9 a month. Just go subscribe to something and play with it and get to learn. And even you're playing in that can help you when you come to a more advanced software AI engine, just by playing in it and getting to know how to prompt and get the images that you want and the rules, So yeah, I say go for it, play with it. Don't be afraid of it. It can be your friend if you let it. It can even argue with you like mine does. But
Mine, you know what? I keep mine in a good vibe zone. Good vibe zone. But I also say there's a lot of programs out there right now that, I've been pushing this since the beginning when we started Crypto City. Go out there and take the free lessons that are out there, because even if they're super basic, you learn something, because every single different course that's out there, whether you go through Coursera, Courseive, any of the ones that are out there, you will learn something from them. And you'll learn a lot from some of them. Courseive right now actually has an AI class. I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks long. And each one is like 3 or 4 different programs they show you 15-minute clips of, so that you can see how they function. So it's not teaching you all the ins and outs, but it could give you a nice high-level overview, so you could say, "Ooh, that's the type of AI I want to do." Then you can go learn it more. So there's a lot of options out there. And, Coursera is one of the best that I like, because you can take the classes for free. You don't get the certificate, but you took it and got the knowledge. You really only need the certificate if you're planning on going out there and proving yourself on a job. So you can get the skills, sit at home and play with it, and still create stuff. It's great.
Yeah, there's some pretty inexpensive programs out there for filmmaking as well, which I took one. Can't think of the name of it right now. I'm just blaming it on the senior moment. But if you guys want it, if you guys want the name of it, you can DM me and I can give you that. But I did take that, and that taught me all about how to prompt for camera angles and everything, and
nice.
What the camera the correct, what AI understands, the terminology to use when you're trying to set up camera angles and stuff. But which was very helpful when I did the Spaces video. So yeah.
Nice. It teaches you how to keep the microphone out of your mouth.
Yeah. Like eating the microphone.
Oh, it's great. Well, again, I do want to say thank you to you. I love hearing your story. I love seeing people grow. People like you and Cybershay, who's been, doing more and more and more. Fuchsia, and so many people in our audience who have grown, from just being a member of the audience. And, even like Ty Sky, who came into VR as a DJ, he still is, but now he's also doing events, the growth within here is wonderful. I love seeing people like that. Blue and I we met over in Altspace, and Blue was doing the Flock, and I joined up with them so that we could do events. And, we've grown from there to doing this production and that hip hop joint and all these different things. It is wonderful to see the opportunities in here being capitalized on, and watching people actually grow, not just their skills, but achieving their dreams. It's a great thing.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to thank you for having me to actually talk about what's in my head. So I appreciate you having me on the show. And thanks everybody for coming.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. We have been doing this for a while, and our sponsors are so important to us because they show that they support what we're doing to grow this community and bring people together in the tech world. And, we have DJ Marcus, who not only is a sponsor, but he built the camera system that we put our videos together with every week for YouTube. We got Kip VR, who built this world that we're sitting in right now, and has been, a supporter and a member of our community since day one. We've got Rich from Hume AI and Lux VR, who's teaching people how to use AI and in their marketing on higher level. And that's really helpful for e-commerce. Cybershay, we mentioned doing just about everything here in the metaverse. And then we have Tinker Love 1980 from Beauty of Tink, who's doing things both in the metaverse and in real life to help bring the community together. And we have the virtual fitness group led by Fuchsia, helping people get fit and bringing people together to actually enjoy working out. Imagine that. And then we have, I know you don't believe me, but it's true. We have fun. Then we have Ice Cold Stacks from Ice House Casino and Lounge, who, has put together this platform for artists to be able to have residencies kind of like Vegas and really get in there and enjoy, showcasing their work. And she also joins with Ty Sky, the DJ at BYOB events, doing a little bit of, comedy, a little bit of live streaming events, and, a whole bunch of bringing community together. And at the end of the day, bringing community together is one of the most important parts of VR, because there is a whole network of people in here to work with, to hang out with, to make friends with, and to learn from. And learning is one of the most important things that you can get out of this. You can learn more in VR for free than you can sometimes in a whole college course. So take opportunities and talk to people and reach out and learn what people have to share. And speaking of, our next week guest is going to be Aussie Guy. And if you missed it, the Aussie Guy just put together AltCom for 2026 back last month. He was a huge part of the alt space community. And when it closed down, you know, he held on tight and he said, I'm going to make sure those who were involved in alt space get a little bit of it every year. And he puts together this great event for everyone to come and see some of the things that were still in alt space when we left it. And you know what? This year, he actually took people who were in alt space that are doing things now and allowed us to put the stuff we're doing now in there as well to show that people are still, you know, working together in VR. And for everyone who's in Horizon and, you know, worried about the closing and worried about not being able to create, come over here to VR Chat, learn how to create here. Go to Cluster, go to some of these other platforms, learn how to create there. And, you know, don't give up on your skills just because one platform closes. When one door closes, another one opens. So continue moving forward, create new things, just create. And we will see you all next week. Have a great week. Thank you. And cut.
Yay!
Thank you. That was great.
That was good. That was a good job.
I love that.